and there's no justification. It was wrong. 100% it was wrong. Like my hands aren't clean. Like I did participate in the downfall of his life, and that will haunt me for the rest of mine. Like he should be allowed to make music. He should be allowed to live his life. Yeah, I fucked up. I made a mistake and I said some things that weren't true. And for that, I am sorry. It doesn't change the fact that it's already been done, but I am genuinely sorry.
All right. So, one of the topics that I've covered in the last couple of months is the story of William Control. He was basically canceled several years ago. And I found out, I saw on Instagram just the other day that one of William Control's primary accusers, she had recently done a series of Instagram posts where she talked about how she believes the truth was distorted and misrepresented, and she wants to set the record straight. So I want to introduce to you everybody, Stormy. Thank you so much for coming on the show. So I think we'll just start off by talking about what prompted you to post that on Instagram and what were you really trying to get at in those Instagram posts?
It took a lot of like personal soul searching, I guess. And I just felt like in order for me to really grow as a person, that I need to take ownership and accountability for some of the things that I have said and done. And regrettably, I did come from a place of hurt, and I said some things about William Control that I can't take back. I was madly in love with him, and I had high hopes that it would have been something more than what it was for all those years.
Mm.
And when we broke up, it was really hard for me, like, because there was a lot of lies that were told to me, and he was doing hurtful things to me, not more or less mentally, emotionally, like sleeping with other girls and, just like ignoring me, manipulating situations. And over time, I just got completely fed up with it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that William has said in the last several years as he's come out and he's responded publicly to the allegations against him and what was said about him in the media, is that he owns up to the fact that he did not always behave toward women in an honorable fashion. He lied. He cheated on his wife. And basically cheated on the other women that he was with, like you. And I just want to say before we move on and talk about the allegations against him, I just want to say that I don't want to minimize that experience that you had. And so no one is claiming that these guys or that William Control is a Boy Scout or is going to win, husband or boyfriend of the year or whatever, right? But you came here today, you wanted to talk to me today because you do feel like, as I understand it, that the perception of him that's out there, that he's this dangerous predator, this abusive guy, that's not correct. Am I understanding you right?
Yeah, that is correct. He's not. And I think in this case in particular, that there were a lot of women whose feelings were hurt, like that was my takeaway. And we all had our own experiences. And to whatever degree that these women, were emotionally or mentally wounded, it really showed in the wrath of it all.
What do you mean by the wrath of it all? Are you saying that you feel like the allegations that were made by other women against him were like based on vengeance, like they were angry that he had
I
discarded
think
them?
at some point everyone will be able to come to terms with why they did what they did. And there were moments in our relationship where boundaries were crossed in the bedroom.
So you were in a BDSM relationship with William
Yeah.
Control,
Well,
and
yeah, relationship.
say that again.
I said a consensual BDSM relationship.
Right. Thank you for making that distinction. Right. Exactly. Consensual. And basically, as I understand it, um, that there were times when, within the context of this kind of BDSM sex, or this rough sex, that things got rougher than you would have liked. Did you express to him that you wanted him to stop, or or it was a case of where you didn't express it, but you feel like he took things too far?
Yeah. So for me, I'm a bit of an extremist. And when I'm with someone that I feel safe or comfortable, it's kind of like at your discretion, like if it's working for you, it's working for me type deal. And it was one of those things where didn't really know till it was too late, it was already done. And then you're like, oh,
Mhm.
thing. This was probably.
Right, I understand. So, as I'm understanding it, you don't think that William Control is a threat to women, or a danger, or like, if or that he's out there as this kind of predator looking to, like, the way he was described in some of these articles, it made it sound like he was a predator who was trying to take all of these opportunities to beat up women. And is that
Well,
your feeling?
that was the angle because you had a bunch of girls that were all kind of vocalizing the same thing, that they were in a BDSM relationship or maybe a sexual ship, I don't know. um
Mhm.
and at some point, I think no one really spoke up because they had their own take on, pleasing him or being that feeling
Mm,
special girl for him, and then it being that they weren't, and then it makes you feel some type of way. Like it really
right,
does.
right. Right, because, and I can identify with this. I'm a woman, been in relationships too. You want to think that you're special, like they're telling you that you are, and leading you to believe that you are, and then you find out that they've been cheating on you with other people. You're going to feel really angry, and it sounds like what you're saying is that this sense of this guy having actually done something dishonorable, behaving this way, it made women feel justified in maybe amping up their claims and making it seem like he was this abusive predator when he wasn't?
Yes. I mean, uh, to say it as plainly as I could, like I would trust him babysitting. You know what I mean? Like I don't think,
Really?
yeah, like he's not. Sure, yeah, I was pissed off and I hated him for a minute. I hated how he made me feel. Like he made me question my own self-worth over just a series, of my life choices that I made with him. But
Mhm.
he's not a horrible person. Like he made bad judgment calls for sure. We'll give him that. But I don't think he should have to spend the rest of his life branded this, predator or like awful human being. But a lot of people were like really quick to throw all that out there, and I was like, okay, let's take a back seat and kind of like see how this rides out while I was still dealing with heartbreak. And I was just like, you have this coming. Like I could have at any point stood up and did this interview and been like, no, like this is all a misconception. Like this is getting wildly out of hand. But I was so hurt that I was like,
Mhm.
reap what you sow. This is I didn't force you to sleep with all these women and have these types of consensual BDSM relationships. So you're on your own. Like,
It's like a feeling of like a kind of a karma, right? That, well, you may not have done these things, or be this monster, or be this person that they say you are, but you lied to me, you hurt me, Yeah, I
and
get it.
that was my justification, and I walked away because I was devastated and I couldn't process it. I couldn't deal with it. I wanted nothing to do with it anymore, and it's just eaten me up. It's eaten me alive because I knew it was wrong. I knew it was the wrong thing to do, but so much time had passed that I was like, what difference is it going to make? Like, I'm one person. I didn't go out, trying to coerce anybody to say anything or lie about stuff that didn't take place. So what was I going to reach out and be like, "Hey, did you tell the truth?" Like, that whole situation is not something that I am proud of. Like, if I could take it back, I would. I would in a heartbeat. I would run right back to the beginning and be like, "No, this isn't, let's not do this." And now I feel like I'm in a place where mentally I can rationalize, why I did it, and there's no justification. It was wrong. 100% it was wrong. Like, my hands aren't clean. Like, I did participate in the downfall of his life, and that will haunt me for the rest of mine. But I don't think it's fair that he should continue another day, 2 days, 10 years. Like, he should be allowed to make music. He should be allowed to live his life peacefully, and people shouldn't hold the worst of his life choices up and, brand him a monster.
Well, you said that earlier that you feel like maybe it's too late to do what you're doing, but it's never too late to tell the truth. And you're doing something that almost no one else does, because there are a lot of cases of that I've seen in the last several years of false allegations. And I think a number of women who know that they're in too deep, and that they're lying, and that they're allowing misrepresentations to ruin people, and yet they keep going because they think that they have no other alternative. They think that they're in too deep to turn back. And every now and then you do find someone like you, or like in the Marilyn Manson case, Ashley Smithline, who came forward and recanted and her story and told the truth about that. You Every now and then there's somebody like you, but I think that it's a really great message you have, and that I'm trying to get out there as well, that there is a place for redemption in these situations, and frankly that people get sucked into things without even really thinking about it sometimes. Like you, as you described it to me, somebody came to you with stories that were already out there. Some other people were telling stories about, and stories and lies and stuff about William, and you thought, well, wow, he's a horrible guy. He's doing these horrible things, and you kind of get enticed into going along for the ride, kind of, right? Or is that right?
Yeah, because then at that point it was like, wait, okay, well, who really was this person? Like, did I even really know them? Like, and then you start questioning yourself and why you made the choices you did. Like, why put myself in these
Right.
situations and positions, and ultimately love is a dangerous thing. If you love someone to the depths of your soul, you will do just about anything. And, I love him enough to be like, yeah, I fucked up. I made a mistake, and I said some things about you that weren't true. And for that, I am sorry. It doesn't change the fact that it's already been done, but I am genuinely sorry. And I just, for myself, it's like, I know I'm a good person, but even good people make bad choices. And that's something that I have to live with.
Well, it's absolutely true that good people make bad choices, and especially at weak moments in our lives. And I believe in redemption, and I believe in the story of the prodigal son. In that story, the prodigal son, like he fucks up big time, and he goes kind of all the way around the world, right, in a way, sort of just like screwing up. And then, but when he comes back home, his dad runs to him, because when people decide to turn from the wrong path, like, we should always encourage it. And so I think it's a powerful message. And for the record, then, like, you would encourage, like, the record companies that canceled him, or the various venues or people that stopped working with William Control because of these allegations. You would say to them, there's no
Let
reason for this.
let him make his music. Let him provide for his family and do what he's good at. Why can't he? And he's very caring. Like, he's not a predator, maybe a sexual deviant. You know what I mean? Like, at a player. I don't know,
Yeah,
but
yeah. I think he's admitted to those things. He has. Um, I'm just thinking. Is there anything that you want me to ask you or you want to talk about that we haven't?
no. I mean, I'm just really thankful that you gave me this opportunity to, like, like, it's a weight off my chest to be like, even if it doesn't, it causes a ripple effect. And maybe other women will look at this and be like, shit, if she can do it, I can do it, or not even in just the will situation, but like anybody has the ability to decide that they don't want to be that way. They don't want to treat people that way. And you can go back and make amends. And so, thank you. Thank you for allowing my voice to carry.
Well, thank you for this bravery. And look, I know that there will be some people who will say, "Oh, how can we celebrate her when she contributed to what happened to this guy?" But again, let he who is without sin cast the first stone, and we all of us have found ourselves in very weak moments in our lives getting sucked into things. And let me just say that the more that I look into these types of Me Too fabrications or Me Too hoaxes or whatever term we want to use, the more I see how most of the women who get into them just get sucked in by a kind of a perfect storm of like, oh, somebody else said this, or oh, I found this out, or the media is saying this or that, and it just kind of happens. And so I want more women to know that, like you can turn around, and when you turn around and you do the right thing, then people will forgive. And so thank you so much for this. And I hope that the people who contributed to the cancellation of William Control will see this and will know that there is no reason to cancel him any longer. And so thank you once again for this.
Thank you for having me.
All right. You did the right thing, sweetie. You did. You did the right thing. I know it's hard when you get sucked into things. I know. I know.
I wish I could take it back. I would have never hurt him if I wasn't so full of rage back then, if
I
I just
understand that. I
walk away,
understand.
don't react, walk away. And I was like, you want to fuck with me? That's what happened.
But you know what? You learned I really believe you learned your lesson. I mean, the body doesn't lie. I can see it, right? It's like genuine crying. I really it's not Amber Heard. I can really see that you learned the lesson and you turn from it. Most people don't do that. And I think God's going to reward that, and I think this is going to help them. I think it is, okay? So listen, I'm going to make a video out of this, and then we'll shoot for getting it out like in a couple of days. Okay?
Awesome. Thank
You should
you.
feel good about this. Look, you've done everything that you can do. You've apologized. You've tried to make amends, honestly taking a big risk putting yourself out there like this. Scratch it off your list, okay? You should go on and you should feel, like you're forgiven, okay?
Okay.
All right. All right, I'll be in touch soon, okay? Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank you.